I'll go right into new business. It's an amendment to fiscal year 2009-10 budget ordinance fee schedule. Mr. Manager.
Mayor, this is a request to, for a standard amendment to the 09-2010 budget ordinance for the fee schedule. And as set forth in the action item, it will be or needs to be approved by ordinance as required. And basically, the staff recently received notice from Halifax County Register of Deeds that the fees for recording deeds and easements will increase effective October 1, 2009, and we need to amend the Section 10 of the fee schedule to reflect those changes. And it's a dollar-for-dollar amendment. There's no administrative fee or other fee attached to that. It's just to reflect those changes, and that's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Does any council member have a question for the manager? There being no questions, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the attached amendment.
So moved, Mayor.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the ayes carry. The next item on the agenda is a resolution approving an agreement for bridge inspection. Which it reads that every 2 years the city is required to inspect all bridges within the municipality of the limits. The city has only one bridge, which is located at the Challenger Recreation Center. Council is requested to consider a resolution authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute a municipal agreement with NCDOT to perform this inspection. NCDOT will participate at 80% of the cost, and the city would pay the 20%. Which is included in the budget. Richard?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Mayor, you've basically read over the motion.
Yeah.
I will just let council know that every 2 years, we're required by the state to inspect our bridges. Excuse me. We only have one, and that's the Challenger Rec. We have 3 options that we can choose, and we always choose the option that DOT chooses the engineer to make our inspection. Once they make the inspection, they'll prepare a report, send it to us, and most of the time they find some flaws in the bridge, and we have to correct them in a certain manner of time. And it's really a help for us because DOT bridge people are very thorough with what they do, and they also find some minor deficiencies in our bridge which we normally wouldn't see. So we use their report, and we do make our improvements to the bridge. I will let council know that this runs around $4,000. Our share is around $4,000. And tonight we are asking for a motion to adopt the resolution that's included in your package.
Okay. Does any council member have a question for Richard concerning the bridge? Richard, when you say they find small deficiencies, how about defining that a little bit?
Most of the time, somebody or something has happened to a bolt that may
bolt?
hold up a railing on the side of the bridge.
Okay.
Normally asphalt wear on the bridge. Sometimes there's sediment that's lodged against some of the pilings, things that small, that won't, the only thing, the major thing that crosses that is a school bus, and that is a major item. So we make those repairs from their report. So those are the type of minor. We never see anything major like the bridge is falling.
Thank you, Richard. Anyone have any questions for Richard?
They do inspect the entire soundness, just like any other
Yes,
bridge.
sir.
It's just that that's the only thing they do find.
Yes, sir, that's
Is that-
correct.
Okay.
They actually run some stress tests on the timbers and on the pavement, and they do a very thorough inspection of the bridge.
And you might, just for the public that see, you might tell them where that bridge is located, off of which street?
Dixie
Dixie.
Street, it's the bridge that basically comes off of Glover, Dixie, into Challenger Rec, across Chalkyot Creek.
That's right. Okay. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the attached resolution.
I would like to make that motion that we adopt the resolution. I mean, the, was it a resolution? Yeah, the attached
The
resolution.
attached resolution. Okay, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes carry. The next item on the agenda is an inmate labor agreement. Hall?
Mayor, this is a request of the council to approve a resolution which will approve the attached contract to enter with the state of North Carolina to provide for inmate labor. This is what we discussed last week at the work session in some detail. Basically, we're set to receive 10 inmates, and of course, these are nonviolent and they require minimum security. These guys are set to be released in the near future and perfectly safe for the community to be released to be allowed to work in our community. We've used inmate labor in the past. There's been a little bit of a gap since the last time the city was able to obtain this labor. There were some changes in policy about the state allowing inmates, just in general from a financial standpoint, to be allowed into the communities to perform basic hard, or not I say hard labor, minimum required or unskilled labor, that's what I'm looking for, I'm sorry, Mayor, unskilled labor in the community. We've had great success with this program in the past. We're one of the first communities, if not the first, as I can tell, in the entire state to receive this under this new program, or the new policy in North Carolina. It's 10 inmates. The numbers, if you recall from last week, indicated that we would benefit approximately $75,000 in labor hourly salary benefit from this program. The request tonight is to approve the contract and allow staff to move forward as quickly as possible to have these inmates in place and working by November 1st. The city attorney, Mr. Chichester, has reviewed the agreement. He indicates that it is a standard state agreement, doesn't see any problems with it. And in fact, Mayor, I'd like to point out that the agreement is almost identical to the agreement that was approved by the City Council back in January. What changed was just the policy of the state. They have a new program name for it.
Yeah.
So we're basically reapproving the same agreement that was approved back in January under this new policy. So basically, you've been through this exercise before, and actually, to be honest with you, I think we're actually netting out with a little bit better program and a little bit better result for this. And I know Chris and Richard have put a lot of time into this and getting these inmates. I know the mayor, you've worked initially to make this contact with the state down at Tillery. We appreciate that. It's going to be a big help for us. And in fact, with the council's approval, 8 a.m. tomorrow, we've got about 10 employees, including myself, that are going to be training with the inmate crew supervisors to learn how to supervise this program. It's a 4-hour course to make sure that we know how to handle the inmates and make sure that we're providing the right supervision.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the manager?
I do.
Okay.
We had brought up in our work session, I believe, possible the liability. Was there any liability? How did that work out? I don't remember that answer to that.
The answer is
If
we
there
don't believe
was
that,
any.
right, no, we understand that just if there's any additional new liability, and from our best analysis, sir, is that we see no different or additional liability from the previous coverage of the inmates. And basically, I think the presumption was, and we found nothing to deviate from that, was that, unless there's just some outrageous act on behalf by the city, mismanagement, noticeable mismanagement, there would be no liability. And if there is liability, if we did something wrong by negligent supervision, it would be covered by our general liability policy.
Okay.
We don't have that. I do caution, we don't have anything clear. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get that in writing from our insurance carrier.
Yeah.
They just don't really work that way. But
Okay. Does any other councilman have questions? Okay, there being no question, I will consider a motion to adopt the attached resolution.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the ayes carry.